Hey, it's Bret Gregory. So excited to be here with you as always. And if you're just joining us for this live six-figure Facebook marketing class, what I want you to do right now is go on the control panel right there and put in your questions box, write in your city and country where you're joining us from. So if you're just getting on, seeing this now, go right on and put in your city and country where you're joining us from. And then what I'd like to do is tell us your number one challenge that you're having right now today, getting customers to come to you from Facebook. So if you're getting your business off the ground, if you're taking your business to the next level, whatever your challenges are that you're having, getting customers to come to you, go ahead and put it in the chat box right there so we can, so I can look at it and answer your questions. And I've got a great program for you today where we're going to figure out exactly how to replicate your high-paying clients. So you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you already have clients, and you want a lot more of the right kind of clients. So hey, Angus from London, how you doing, my friend? And we've got Marita, we've got Stephanie Brown from Redondo Beach. Hey, Sunny's from Nepal. Wow, awesome. Rennie's from Fairfax. Christina from Frankfurt. Hi, Christina. And we have Tazim from Canada. Pat's from Upland. Robbins from Seattle. Welcome. Good to have you here with us today. So tell us what your number one challenge is that you're having right now today, getting customers to come to you. So Stephanie Brown's in the middle of a relaunch and starting to learn about social media. So Stephanie, tell me what who your high-paying clients are and what do you do for them. So start there. We have Monica is from Markham, Ontario. Welcome, Monica. Thanks for coming and being here today. So tell me, who are your high-paying clients? The ones who pay you well, the ones that you want to replicate. And what do you do for them? And specifically when I say what do you do for them, what is the big problem that you solve for your high-paying clients? So the problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve. Hey, Jean from San Diego, and Maha's from Vancouver. Josie is from Canada, and Nikki's from Scottsdale. How to step into Facebook, start your business to the new event page. Awesome. And I'm unable to change the date again, was too late. Oh, hey, Tachia, how you doing? Well, I'll talk to you a little bit about that. And Tazim says, I'm just not getting engagement and buy-in to your high-end spa facial services, and I also only work 2 days a week. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna show you is how to shortcut your marketing efforts. So how to save 10 hours of work, of lost productivity, of failed marketing efforts with 1 hour of customer research. And what I'm specifically talking about here is, I like to call them mining for gold interviews, but it's where you're going to specifically interview and ask, there's 10 questions that you need to ask your high-paying clients to replicate them. Figure out, where do they hang out? What is it that motivates them? How do they articulate the problem that you solve for them? Because if you can articulate their problem better than they can, they're gonna look to pay you for your services, your products, and your solutions, okay? So that's what we're really focusing on, is how can you really figure out where your high-paying clients hang out, what is it that motivates them to pay you well for your services, and how to replicate them. And the way you do that is by asking them questions. There's 10 questions specifically, and I'm gonna walk through what some of those 10 questions are. So Stephanie, I'm looking to expand out of your high-end, out of your current high-end into a new high-end client, okay? So Tazim wants to give them great results with your treatment and product recommendations. Okay, and Tazim, your clients are not using Facebook, all right? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. And Stephanie, my high-end clients are between 45, 55. They're not involved in social media at all. Don't be so sure of that. I'm an animal communicator, and I work with pets and their parents with issues. And so don't make a blanket assumption that your customers are not on social media in any way, shape, or form. The chances are really good that they are on social media in some way, shape, or form. Even if they're not super active on social media, there's a good chance. And there's 1.4 billion people on Facebook. And then if you throw in Twitter and you throw in Instagram and you throw in, a lot of the other social networks, there's a good chance that your clients are touched by one of those. And so just don't make that blanket assumption that your people are simply not on online, because a lot of them may very well be. So with that, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen right here. And before I go into these questions and how you go about finding your clients and replicating them, a couple of people had a quick question here about, how do you get for your Facebook event, how do you get so many people saying that they're going to your Facebook event? And there's this is called the event stack. Okay, so the event stack that we're using here is we just create one Facebook event and we invite people, and every week we get a few more people saying that they're going. And one thing, the secret to how this works is, you can see here today on the Facebook event, it says that it goes from 1 to 4 p.m. So by the way, if you haven't joined this Facebook event, just go ahead and click here in the link. I just posted it here in the Facebook, or excuse me, in your chat roll. So just go into the chat roll there and click the join button. And you can see how it goes. It says from 1 to 4 p.m. Well, it really doesn't go that long. It only goes for 60 minutes. We're going to stop at like 1:59. So what I do, and I'll just go ahead and do this right now. So this is being recorded so everybody can see it. This is about as simple as it gets. Before it's over, I'm not going to wait until 4 o'clock. Before it's over, I'm just going to go in and click the edit button, and I just go in and change the date. Since we do this every week, I'm going to click here and I'm going to move this. I'm going to move the from date to the 20th. That's next Tuesday, to the 20th. And I could even get rid of the end time if I wanted to. I could just say it starts at 1 p.m. I like to just throw in the end time so that people can see it, but there's no requirement to do that. And then you click save, and that's it. So here's kind of the magic of this, Facebook marketing event stack. And there it goes. So now you can see it's on October 20th, and I'm starting with 1,200 people saying that they're going. And so what you focus on is every week you try and get a few new people saying that they're going. And in the beginning, it feels like this takes forever. I mean, it's hard to get people to say that they're going to your event, but it's not hard to get a few new people every week. And so it might feel like it takes a really long time to get the first 100 people saying that they're going. But I've had lots of clients who have done this exact same technique. And they said, the first week, I think I got 20 people to say that they're going. And then the next week, I got another 15. But then we were up to 35, and then 55, and so on. But then after a while, and I've been doing this particular event, I think, for like 9 months now or something like that. After a while, it starts to catch on, and lots more and more and more people saying that they're going. So why is this interesting to you? Well, the thing that's interesting about it is when you see an event on Facebook, most events that you see like 1,000 people invited and 2 people saying that they're going. And so that's social proof. It's just the wrong kind of social proof. It's social proof working against you. This is social proof working for you. So if you have lots and lots, hundreds of people going to your event, the more you have, the more you get. The more new people can come and find you organically and virally. So it's pretty cool when this starts to take off, and it is not an overnight experience. This is a slow and steady wins the race. Pretty much everything I teach is basically a marathon. And so when you're doing this marathon, this slow and steady wins the race, you can expect it's going to take a while to get it going. But once you do, a year from now, you're going to wish you started a year ago. And so I'm just a really big fan, and we've gotten more customers out of doing these live weekly programs than just about anything else. And what I love about this is that all we do is we just teach you our very best stuff and do our very best to help you. And then a couple people just want to come on and join one of our programs or purchase one of our products. And it's like, so my whole job is helping people. It's so awesome. It's about as cool as it possibly gets. And so that's something that I teach and how to go about doing that. So in this particular section, we're going to show you how to replicate your high-end clients. And the way that we do that is to help you streamline your marketing content. And we do it in marketing, we call this creating a customer avatar. Now, if you've ever heard of this term, some people really like this term, some people really don't like this term. It doesn't matter, whatever you think about it, I want you to throw away any preconceived notions. And if you've never heard of this before, what we're doing here is we're going to find all the characteristics of your high-end clients and combine them into one person. Okay, so this is a fictional person, but this is your fictional, perfect, high-end client. And if we did that, what would that person be like? What are the important traits that person has that has meaning and value and are relevant? And why you should care about this is because your high-end clients have particular traits that attract them to you, and you have unique talents that attract them to you. You need to figure out what it is that they are, and this exercise will show you how to do that. So when a lot of people go through this process, and what we're doing here is we're doing high-end marketing research. And in the high-end marketing research, we want to create the commonalities that make up your high-paying customer. So as you build your universal customer or your customer avatar, you're looking to find particular commonalities that make your customers uniquely similar. And so we only want to include the commonalities that have meaning and value, and we want to get rid of the stuff that really doesn't matter, the irrelevant stuff. So the first thing is when people, when I ask you, tell me who your high-paying client is, probably 99% of the time we go right to demographics. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't need to end there. So a lot of people will go right to age and gender and location and occupation, and that's fine, but that's just one very small piece of what we're looking for. So this is kind of, let's call this the easy part. Check this off the list. Your clients, whatever they are, if they're, let's say they're 45, 55 years old, whatever their gender is, where do they live, what their occupation is. But what's more interesting typically are the psychographic traits. Okay, now if you know what your high-paying clients' biggest fears and frustrations are, and by the way, when I say this, it is in the context of what you do, okay? So if somebody's biggest fear is they're afraid of spiders and you're a love coach, that is totally irrelevant, okay? If you're a love coach and your ideal customer's biggest fear is that they're going to be alone the rest of their life and never be able to have children, that's what you need to know, okay? And maybe their biggest fear is they hate dating, and this whole new way of online dating is their biggest frustration. And if you can show them how to find a perfect match for them without having to date or without having to go through Match.com and find the love of their life, I mean, they're going to hire you without even thinking about it. So what are the common problems that your high-paying customers are trying to solve? Again, in the context of what it is that you do, the problems that you are uniquely qualified to solve. What are your high-paying clients' wants and aspirations and fantasies and desires? And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's really important to put it in the context of what it is that you do. If you're a business coach and you're, you might have clients that have desires to do something that's totally non-business related. They want to learn how to play the piano, and you're going to help them increase their sales. Well, there might be some connection there. Hey, if you can give them more time, money, and freedom, they'll have the ability to go and play the piano. But make sure that it's in the context of what it is that you do, so that you can help them, you can identify where to find these customers and how to articulate their problems better than they can. And on that note, you want to use in your marketing, again, the big reason why we're doing this exercise is to figure out which words are going to resonate best with your customers. And if you want to know which words are going to attract your customers, which, what's the headline that's going to stop your customer right in their tracks, you want to know what words they use to describe their problems. And understand that different people communicate in different ways. So, we have a lot of people kind of in the holistic health space come to us to help grow their business, and kind of the spiritual based realm quite a bit. A lot of people will come to us, and I'll ask them what they do, and they'll start to describe using jargon that they use, that they understand. And so they might say like chakra, or you're get really into some spiritual definitions and words that other people might not understand. And it's important that to make sure that your customer uses those words, and do not assume that they do. It's better to assume that they do not than to mistakenly assume that they do. And so, we have a lot of people who are in the yoga world, and those people are going to communicate very differently from sports lovers or tech geeks. And what's the thing that you need to remember this is, what are the common words and phrases and sayings that your customers use that they can best relate to? And do not assume it's the words that you already use. Okay, so your customers' unique words, within their words and phrases and sayings, there are common themes, and you want to listen carefully to their emotional hot buttons, words and phrases that your customers are using. And this is where Facebook comes in. So let me give you an example. We're developing a wellness community in Costa Rica, and so we've got one of the largest Costa Rica yoga pages, Facebook pages in the world. And one of my clients is SedonaSoulAdventures.com, and they're my friend Deborah is the owner. She's got $1 million business helping people do spiritual retreats in Sedona. But then a couple times a year, they'll travel all over the world to do these soul adventures. And these are high ticket items. This would be a $6,000 package. And one of the things that they wanted to do is they wanted to do a yoga retreat in Costa Rica. So we were helping them market, but before we started the process of going out and just putting some marketing together and running ads and trying to get email addresses, before we did any of that, we started doing market research by talking to our customers, specifically asking them questions on Facebook. So here's a great example. So we said, SedonaSoulAdventures.com, tell us why you want or need a Costa Rica yoga retreat in April. Okay, now this was a very specific, targeted question. And you can see down at the bottom, we had 995 likes. But here's the thing that was interesting. We started seeing patterns pretty quickly in the answers that people were giving us. So Dominique said, I'm a mother of 5, ages 19 to 5. I work full-time managing emergency shelter for victims of domestic violence. I can't breathe without my yoga, and I need a vacation so bad. Okay, now that last sentence, that really stood out. I can't breathe without my yoga. So when we put an email marketing campaign together, one of our subject lines was, I can't breathe without my yoga. It had a very high open rate, because guess what? A lot of the Dominiques of the world saw that and related to it immediately, because it was their words. I didn't even have to go make it up. I just had to engage with our audience, and they told us, they gave us the words. The next is, I need a vacation so bad. 4 O's in that, so bad. And that was also a subject line that had a very high open rate, because guess what? The Dominiques of the world could really relate to that. Tina mentioned I'm a new yoga teacher who is retired from nursing after 23 years. I'm also a massage Reiki therapist. I love the natural healing of all these practices. And I would love to bring the energy of Costa Rica home to my clients and myself. So that last sentence, again, really stood out. Bring the energy of Costa Rica home. And one of the interesting things that we found out is a lot of the people we ended up selling out this retreat. And so remember, this was a $6,000 retreat, 25 spots, sold it out. And the way that we sold it out was by engaging with these kind of people and asking our audience, what is it that you want, and seeing who's responding and seeing what it is that they're saying. And we had some really interesting responses here. And when we had Tina had responded, we started noticing a pattern that a lot of the women who were responding were women who got their yoga certification, but they also had a part-time job. They weren't full-time yoga instructors. They were part-time yoga instructors, or they wanted to become yoga instructors, and they still worked a full-time job. And we kept getting these same people responding over and over and over again. Here was another example. This person, Natalia, when she replied, she said, I had daydreams of visiting South America. Now, Costa Rica is in Central America, but we'll let that slide. Amazing opportunity to reconnect if I could spend time doing yoga, which I practice, teach, and love, while submerged in the atmosphere of a tropical country, which I miss so much. My Muladhara chakra would definitely ignite. Now you got me dreaming. Okay, so that last sentence, that ended up being a subject line of one of our emails that got tons of open rates. It had a very, very high open rate because a lot of the women who ended up purchasing the Costa Rica yoga retreat saw that and said, oh my gosh, I got to know more. That sounds like something that I'm really interested in. Sheila Patton, recovering from a divorce, she said, it's been difficult finding me after so long. No clue what I would do without yoga. It's kept me strong and centered. Stress is overwhelming at times. Costa Rica would be a wonderful healing experience. That was another subject line of one of our emails. Costa Rica would be a wonderful healing experience. So when we ended up, by doing this market research, we ended up with 25 spots sold at $6,000. That's $150,000 in sales. Okay, so and so when I tell you that it is important to do this kind of marketing research up front, I'm not just talking for no reason. It's because you have to figure out who your customer is, your high-paying customer, and how do they articulate their problems, and what is it that motivates them to make these kinds of buying decisions, okay? And so when you create your marketing for whatever it is that you do, you're gonna create your marketing just for your customer avatar, okay? Your high-paying client, all right? Now remember, the avatar is not a real person. It's a compilation of all of the things that make your customers uniquely similar. But when you write your marketing messages, you're going to write your marketing messages, and I don't care if it's a Facebook post or an email, or if it's a copy on a lead page on your website, doesn't matter. Write your marketing just for one person, okay? And you write it as if they are a close, personal, trusted friend. And when you do that, you want to let your mental, emotional connection to them and your understanding of them come through. And when we look at, and so if you look at the examples that I had just given you, if we send out an email that says, it's been difficult finding me, the Sheilas of the world, this woman on the bottom, those are the ones that are going to see that email subject line, and they're going to open it. And that's who we were focusing on. And the only reason why we focused on them is because those were the people who seemed most motivated to pay for the Costa Rica yoga retreat. And so our communication was really about letting our mental, emotional connection to them and our understanding of them come through. And that's what you want to do. So this is why you want to engage and ask questions with your clients. And so here's another example. You want to focus on your customer's pain and whatever their frustration is, as well as their wants and desires, okay? So what I'm showing you here is this is an example of the problems that we solve for our customers. Our customers want more customers. So this is an example of some of our very simple, clear, direct marketing messages that addresses a solution to a pain or frustration, not having enough customers. And also addresses the wants and aspirations. Why do you want more customers? So that you have more time, money, and freedom. And so we came up with this very succinct messages. Get more likes, emails, and customers so that you have more time, money, and freedom. And we found these words from asking our customers, from interviewing our customers, and creating these customer avatars, and just asking very simple questions like, hey, when it comes to growing your business, what is your number one challenge? When it comes to growing your business, what is your number one goal? What is your number one wants and aspirations? And what is important for you to also understand is that people are most motivated by solving problems. And this really came from we have evolved to be twice as motivated to move away from pain than we are to seek pleasure. If you roll back the biological clock about 30,000 years ago, when we were budding Homo sapiens in hunter-gatherer tribes, the people that ran away faster and sooner from the lions and tigers and bears were the ones that lived long enough to pass along their genes. And as a result, we humans are twice as motivated to move away from pain than we are to seek pleasure. So in your marketing, solutions are purchased more than what would prevent the problems in the first place. So that's why the weight loss industry is like 10 times more profitable than the fitness industry. Now think about that for just a moment. The solution to the problem, which is the weight loss solution, that's purchased far more than just getting a fitness membership, fitness club membership, and not gaining the weight in the first place. And so it's important, and I stress this because when I first got into, I've been in marketing and sales for probably 20 plus years, but when I first got into marketing, I was definitely afraid of saying anything negative in my marketing. I didn't want to say anything negative in my emails. And, I was sending emails to people and everything was all happy, unicorns and rainbows and all that stuff. And I was having a really hard time getting customers. And then one of my mentors, Eben Pagan, told me, hey, well, why aren't you focusing on the pain and the problem? I said, oh, well, I don't want to be a fear monger. And he said to me, Bret, if you miss this, if you don't address people's pain and fear and frustration, they aren't going to think that you truly understand them, and they're going to go to someone else who does. And so if you skip over, if you try to gloss over and make everything sound like it's perfect, people know that that's not reality. And you're going to miss a big swath of your potential customers. And so it's better to be real and tell people the truth and focus on helping them solve their problems and get rid of their pain than to just focus on all of the positive stuff. That doesn't mean that you can't do both, but remember, people are most motivated by solving problems. So, for example, the words attract customers now, the name of our business, name of my book, That came as a solution to a problem. So now it doesn't have to be negative. The problem sounds negative. The problem is not enough customers. Well, the solution is something that's positive, but this is a direct result of creating marketing that addresses our customers' needs, and you can do the same thing. And by the way, my main product and program, I used to call it Double Your Likes in Days. Double Your Likes in Days. And when I started out with that name of that program, I got a little bit of sales. I think we sold like $8,000 of that program, something like that. And what I noticed is that a lot of our customers kind of tended to be in the spiritual realm. They tended to be like enlightened entrepreneurs, I like to call them. And so I decided to change the name of the program and the business from Double Your Likes and Days to Facebook Marketing Zen. Thought I was being really clever when I created that name, Facebook Marketing Zen. And what I discovered was nobody wanted Facebook Marketing Zen. I did exactly $0 of sales. And I was trying to be cute and clever with the name. And I thought, oh, my customers know what the word Zen means. They're going to identify with it. And so that's going to help my sales increase. I changed the name to Facebook Marketing Zen. My sales plummeted down to 0. I didn't sell one unit of that. And what I discovered was people couldn't care less about Facebook Marketing Zen. Nobody wanted Facebook Marketing Zen. And then I started interviewing my customers the way that I'm telling you to do now. And I started asking people, all right, what's your big problem? What's the big challenge? And people would say to me things like, you know what? I hate Facebook marketing. I hate marketing. I just want customers to come to me. And I kept hearing that over and over and over again. And then it finally dawned on me, oh, attract customers. When? Now. And once I changed the name of my flagship product to Attract Customers Now, I didn't change the content. I just changed the name. We've now, in the last, I think, 3 or 4 years, we've sold about $600,000 worth of this, our flagship product, Attract Customers Now, from Facebook, plus the ebook. And remember, the content didn't change. I mean, we update it for Facebook updates, but the fundamental program hasn't changed at all. It was just because we talked to our customers, we listened to our customers, and we reacted accordingly. We changed the words to meet our customers' needs and solve their problems. So what you want to do is you want to create your products and services just for your customers, and the name of your programs just for your high-end customers, okay? So when you interview your customers, they're going to tell you exactly what products and services, what your products and services should do for them. Now, sometimes people say, well, what if I don't have any customers? Well, that's when you go poll people on Facebook. If you don't have any customers to interview, then you can just poll people. You can ask questions that you're uniquely qualified to solve. So that's what polls are very good for. But for those of you that already have a business, you already have customers, you want to interview those customers. And when you interview them, they will tell you exactly what your products and services should do for them. So if you're wondering what kind of a program you should create for your high-end customers, you want to ask them specifically what result do they want to get from your program. They will tell you. And in that answer, that is where you can show them, that is where you can design the absolute perfect program for your customers just by talking with them and interacting with them. So here's an example of a customer avatar interview that we've done. And so we have a lot of yoga instructors who want to fill yoga retreats in Costa Rica who would come to us. And so this is an example of one of our clients, and of course we changed the name. But if you take a look at it, this is a very simple profile at the top. It's just sort of the basic demographic kind of information. What's a little bit more interesting, though, are the network and circles. I'm interested in knowing what my high-paying clients I'd like to know what other gurus or teachers or experts do they already follow as it relates to what I do. Okay, now I'm going to say that last part over and over and over again, because sometimes people, again, I'll go back to let's say you're a body worker, and you help people. Maybe you do massage therapy, or you're a chiropractor, and people will ask their clients, what experts or teachers do you already follow? And they say Oprah. That doesn't help you at all. You want to find out, if you're that body worker, you might say, okay, so what body workers do you already go to? Is there if you have significant back pain, are there any websites do you go to? Do you frequent the Healthy Back store? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that's going to make sense for you. So everything you ask needs to be in the context of what it is that you do. You would like to know for sure if they've purchased any other courses. You'd like to know for sure if there's any other events that they want to go to that are in the context of what it is that you do. So that's information about, kind of what other teachers or experts do you follow. But then here's the awesome questions, okay? So you want to begin each of the following questions with when it comes to, and then you fill in the blank of your topic, okay? So let's say you're a love coach. You want to ask your high-paying clients, your existing high-paying clients, you would say, hey, when it comes to finding the man of your dreams, what is your #1 biggest challenge? If you are let's say you help other people grow their business, you could ask that next question. Hey, when it comes to growing your business, what stresses you out the most? Let's say if you're in the health space and you help people improve their health, you would ask, hey, when it comes to your health, what accomplishments are you most proud of? So you can't forget, and I know I'm repeating myself here, but there's a reason. You can't forget to begin each of the following questions with when it comes to your topic. And go ahead and take a screenshot of this. And don't worry, this is being recorded, so you can see all the words right there. Excuse me, all the questions. The last question is the most powerful one for those of you. If you want to figure out what your high-end program should be, if you don't already know, you would ask this question and make sure you put it in how it relates to your topic. And so you would say, when it comes to your topic, picture yourself 90 days from now having already purchased my high-end program. What is the single biggest result you want to have? And whatever that answer is worth gold to you. That answer is what your program should be designed to do. That answer should be all over the title of your program. It should be in the marketing of your program. Your program should be about that answer, getting them that result, whatever that result is. And when you can do that, when you have this kind of information because you've interviewed your high-paying clients, that really allows you to very quickly identify who your other potential high-paying clients are. It really helps you figure out what kind of marketing that you're going to do in these kinds of questions. When you're asking me, what other teachers or experts do you follow? Are there any other online courses? Are there any other conferences or events that you want to go to? Again, always in the context of your business. Are there other Facebook groups you're a member of? Who do you follow on Twitter in the context of what you do? That's going to tell you where your customers hang out online, your high-end customers. It's also going to tell you where do they go just before they buy, which is a very good question to ask. When they're looking to pay somebody for a problem that you're uniquely qualified to solve, what research do they do right before they buy? What research do they do to help them make that buying decision? And if you can find that out, that's going to tell you where your customers are, the motivated ones who've got their credit cards ready to go, who are ready to buy right now because they got a burning problem that you are uniquely qualified to solve. Okay, so So let's go to, hang on a second. All right, so let's go to, let me see here. I'm going to go back to this. All right, so Mona, wondering why your Facebook event does not show all the pictures of those going, only your Facebook page picture. I'm not sure, Mona. I can't see your screen, so I'm not sure. Okay. Dig, your main problem is your leads aren't converting. Can you give me a little bit more to go on? So what else are you doing there, Dig? Stephanie Brown, I've already worked on interviewing them, and that is what they told me. 50 interviews. They do make between 200 plus. So Stephanie, can you give me a little bit more information about what you're trying to accomplish? And you said you're looking to expand out of your high end and into a new high end. So Stephanie, in your new high end, do you have paying customers yet in your new high end? Jer, yeah, so Jared, I don't know if you know this, but it's hard to get 100% of the people who register to show up to your live webinars. Let's see, what else? Stephanie, okay. So, all right, so I don't see any more questions. Unless some more questions come in, I'll go and answer them. What I found is that doing these interviews is worth gold. And it wasn't until we started interviewing our customers that we started consistently figuring out where the high-paying customers go, where do they hang out right before they buy, and that's what you need to know. And if you can interview your customers and figure out what it is that how they articulate their problem, and particularly when you can articulate their problem better than they can, they're going to look to you for your high-end services. They're going to look to pay you to help them solve their problem. And that has worked unbelievably well in tons of different niches that we've discovered. So that's what, use those questions. Go out and interview your current high-paying clients and use those questions to help you figure out where do your customers hang out, where do they go right before they buy, and then how do they specifically articulate their problem. With that, a couple things that I do, I have made myself open. Quite a few people on these calls have been asking to have one-on-one appointments with us. I used to, and this is something that I recommend when you start doing these kinds of programs, until you get full, offer free one-on-one programs, free one-on-one, say 15-minute consultations. We're now completely full, but I still get the requests a lot. So one of the things that I did is I opened up some space in my calendar for paid appointments for people who are interested in getting a one-on-one strategy session with me. Normally, people who are in our high-end programs, it's like a minimum of $1,000 a month. In fact, our program that we have running right now, it's a minimum of a $2,000 program. But I found that a lot of people who just would like to find out more information, would like to have a short strategy session, who are willing to pay for it, are happy to. So if anybody's interested in having a one-on-one strategy session, you can just put in the word one-on-one strategy session in the questions box, and I'll send you a link back, and I'll be happy to talk with you more, and we can talk one-on-one. It is a $97, so it is a paid strategy session, and we only offer those one time, so you can't do multiple in a row. But we had enough of those requests, so we decided to open up. So if you're interested in a one-on-one strategy session, just go to the box and write the words one-on-one strategy session in the questions box, and then I can go and take that. Thank you, Stephanie. So far, your information is very beneficial, and I'm thinking about this differently. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I'll do two quick things here. I'm going to put the appointment availability in. Hang on, let me just make sure I can find it. Give me one moment, please. And I am going to post this right now. Okay, thanks, Deb. I'm going to post this in. Okay, here. So I'm going to post this link in the group. So if you're interested in that one-on-one, just go ahead and click the link and fill out the form. and then we can see you on our one-on-one call. And so for everybody else, make sure to ask those questions to your high-paying clients, get the answers, and then as you start to get those answers, you can compile them, and I want you to look for patterns. I want you to look for the consistent patterns that you see over and over again with your high-paying clients so that you can articulate their problem better than they can, and that's when they're gonna look for you. Great. Oh, Angus, loving the questionnaire. Angus is in our Freedom Client Funnel program. He said he's loving the questionnaire. Were the same questions that I just went over for you. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Great. So the schedule link is there, and thank you all very much. If you got some value out of today, I would love it if you please don't keep me a secret. So if you got some value out of today, please feel free to share this link, but only if you got value out of this today. But if you did in fact get value out of this today, on the Facebook class, just click this drop-down invite and just click share event. And that's all you have to do is just share the event. And again, only if you have gotten value out of today's class. So with that, Deb, you can see the questionnaire. Deb, I'll give the questionnaire to anybody who signs up for the one-on-one with me, but you can also see the questions that we did on the replay. All right, with that, thank you, everybody. It was awesome being here with you. It's always my pleasure. Thank you so much for your questions and participating. Please don't keep me a secret, and we'll see you again next Tuesday. Come with your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Namaste.